I paid more than $300 for this phone everyone is currently talking about on the internet, and $30 for this old Nokia that I have. And the thing is, they exactly do the same thing. So either I'm an idiot or there's something that I don't know about this phone that everyone is currently talking about on the internet. I get it why people are choosing dumb phones instead of these stupid smartphones, because statistics show that the average human being is about 5 hours a day on their screens, which equates to 20.8 years of your life that you spend on screens, doom scrolling, brain rotting, and I totally get why people are going back to just calling and texting again. But here's the question that I don't understand. If you want to escape like this super expensive, addictive smartphone market, why the hell should you get a dumb phone for $300, even more? And by the end of this video, you and me hopefully understand why people are willing to pay 10x the price for this thing right here. Alright, the thing is, you notice it right away when you unbox the phone that this has something to it. That this phone is not your average $30 dumb phone that you would get anywhere in the store. So no, I feel like every single part of this phone kind of feels premium in a sense. Like it starts with the packaging, so everything is really much beautifully designed, and even when you just unbox it and open the box, Punkt phone is perfectly presented in it. And besides that, like when you take it out, you get like your average stuff with some eject tool, some toilet paper, and one USB-C cable, but that's basically it. The first time I picked up this phone, I really thought like, wow. Because the thing is, what I didn't expect is that this thing is really much heavy. So it definitely has some weight, and I think there's a good reason for that. It makes the phone feel way more premium in a sense than, for example, the Nokia phone that I had, which is basically weighs nothing. Generally, the first impressions that I had of this phone were really good. So I inspected the build quality, and it indeed is really good. I think it's made out of plastic, but it's a really sturdy. It really feels nice in your hands with a little bit of texture. And if you take a look at the buttons, they're really clicky. They really do not feel cheap or so. Besides that, from the sides, has like this weird kind of elevated, this kind of unusual shape in my opinion. Everything looks really well designed in general. I think I forgot to film this, but I was like kind of a little bit caught off guard, because when I turned on the phone, there was an owl sound and it made woo woo. And I thought like, what the hell? But that's actually the startup sound of the phone, which is super calming. First impressions when I actually turned this thing on was that it had a different feeling to it, and it actually has a really good display for a dumb phone. And the launcher is sort of feels like a minimal launcher you would download on an Android phone or so, and it actually is a custom launcher because this phone technically runs Android. I'm not sure whether you could access it by kind of modifying it, but this is a modified Android version that only has like really basic features by design. So you can call people, you can text people, but besides that, you barely have any really features that are worth mentioning, besides like an alarm. And there's a good reason for that, because this phone is designed for people who actually want to unplug, that want to live less in a digital world and more in the real life. And I think it does the job really well. So you've got those basic features, and it's really nice to just navigate around the menu. It looks really premium, I've got to say, I've got to admit that. So compared to the Nokia phone, definitely also catches like the attention of others when you use this in public. I've been like daily driving my old Nokia phone, and it definitely felt like something from 2000 or so. But this thing right here looks kind of bespoke. And it even has like some additional features that I haven't seen like in many dumb phones so far. So what I really much like is that it has an implement link to Signal. So Signal, you all know this messenger, I actually use it myself. It's a really good, really secure messenger, at least if you don't invite the wrong people into your group chats. But so that's a really big plus for me, I think. And besides that, you can do voice over LTE, it's called. You can like make phone calls over LTE, so over the internet, so that the phone quality is better. And also this thing technically has mobile data, but there's no browser or anything like that. You can't access the internet per se with this thing. But if you're traveling, when you're somewhere where you have a laptop or a tablet with you, then you can enable a Wi-Fi hotspot or even tethering. So you can use this thing, as I said, as a Wi-Fi hotspot to go online with your other devices, which I think is an interesting feature, of course. With all this being said, I kind of dug into like what the story behind this phone is. And Punkt is this company from Switzerland. And the design really did not evolve by mistake or by chance or so. No, the phone is designed by Jesper Morrison, who is a really much renowned industrial designer that designs loads of minimalist icons, and you really much see that this thing has been crafted by a designer who knows what he is doing in all aspects of this phone. And even like the ringtones are pretty much bespoke, because the whole sound design is composed by Norwegian artist, I'm gonna butcher this, Kjetil Roast Nielsen, I think. And the basic gist behind the phone is, and behind the company Punkt, is that they want to produce consumer electronics that are, as they say, timeless, beautifully designed, and purposefully minimal. Everything you need and nothing you don't. I tested this device for a couple of days, but the real question is, why does this thing here cost $300 and this thing $30? And the honest answer is, I have no clue. I was a little bit disappointed because, you see, it is cool. I value design. I value like that everything here is bespoke and stuff like that. But I really much wonder who the average customer of this phone is supposed to be. Because $300, why the hell should you spend like iPhone money? Okay, it's not really iPhone money. My phone is like taking up a credit these days. Why does this thing cost so much money? I kind of don't see the average user spending $300 for such a device that barely does anything more than this phone right here. I think design is cool, like signal is cool, but honestly, that is not enough to me. I see what they're doing right here. They want to position them as a premium brand. They have like this super beautiful packaging, how the phone is presented. People thought about every part of this phone right here in order to make it feel as premium as possible. And additionally, this comes from Punkt, is a relatively small company with like 30 employees in Switzerland. Switzerland is expensive. They recently moved their whole production to Europe, which makes things even more expensive. I totally get that. So although I so much praise this phone, how cool it looks and how awesome it feels, etc., will I just at the end tell you that you should rather get the Nokia phone for $30? It depends. So in my opinion, I really much wonder what the ideal customer for a Punkt phone is. Punkt, by the way, just means point in German. I really wonder what the ideal customer is. So either you're a digital minimalist that wants to cut down on screen time, but you have to get sure that you have like some sort of mobile secure communication with Signal. All right, I get that. You're a digital minimalist that absolutely wants to cut down his or her screen time, which is super cool, but you have to work remotely and you gotta like have Wi-Fi hotspot. All right. I mean, like you could also get a mobile Wi-Fi hotspot, or you could just like use an old phone. I don't know. You just have a shit ton of money and you don't mind paying 10 extra price for this thing here than this. All right, I can't hate. You do you. But if you clicked on this video because you saw the Punkt phone and you've seen it as I did all over the internet and wondered whether this is the right device for you, I don't want to say no, but it's a rather no. I don't want to. I think this is not the ideal phone for most people because you get everything this phone does with about every other normal cheap dumb phone on the market. And the nice thing with these things is that they're just like dinosaurs. They last ages. You don't break the phone breaks you. As people say in Finland, I guess. These phones are so sturdy. They're so reliable. The battery lasts ages. The battery on this thing does not necessarily last ages. And if it drops, it's no problem whatsoever. But with this thing here, with this luxury item, I gotta call it that way. It's only $300, but for Dumbphone, this really much is a luxury item. You don't want to let it drop, really. So I think for most people, a normal Dumbphone will actually do the job perfectly fine. And I would say that there's no need to get a Punkt phone, but you do you. But if you want to kind of know more about this one right here, because I reviewed it and I tested it, or I lived with it as my daily driver for more than 3 months, then make sure to click on this video right here, where I tell you everything how it's been actually like to daily drive this thing right here, only this phone right here, for 3 months as part of my digital detox in order to cut down on my screen time. And besides that, as always, thank you so much for watching, and now get off your phone. Bye bye.